Hey everyone, welcome back. And today I've got an amazing speaker. It's Lisa Haisha. She's got a master's in psychology. She's a keynote speaker, TV host, author, business and life coach, global influencer, and social engineer. I love that, social engineer. Lisa's continued fascination with what makes people tick compelled her to travel for 3 decades to over 60 countries on 7 continents, compiling social and cultural research by studying the likes of Sufers in Cappadocia, Shamans in Peru, Bedouins in Petra, the Meseya tribes in Tanzania, including interviewing hundreds of orphans for her book, Whispers from Children's Hearts, about who they want to meet and why. If they had one wish, what would it be, and what they want their legacy to be. So she has also been a speaker at many events throughout the United States, Europe, and Middle East, teaching sales, communication, speaking, and the art of pitch, and how to create a winning mindset. She is the chairman of Silicon Valley's Pitch Global LA chapter and trains entrepreneurs how to pitch to investors to raise millions for their projects and ideas. So Lisa's annual European training in June and July located in London, Madrid, and Berlin. This way, she's able to train thousands more in reaching their dreams. So welcome. I'm so honored to have you here. Your bio is the most fascinating one I've come across so far because of all the travel you've done. And so tell me, what really inspired you to do all this travel?
Well, what inspired me was feeling I had a plan when I was younger, and I was going to move to LA and be an actress. And I come from a strict Middle Eastern family, very conservative. And my father's like, I'll disown you if you do that, and all that kind of stuff, because going up there is to be a whore and all that kind of stuff, acting. You're paid to kiss and be intimate on camera, basically. So I just said, well, I have to do it. It's my passion and whatever. So when I came up to LA, I realized how hard it was to really make it. Almost every role was, 8 seconds of nudity, 3 seconds of nudity, or, something. Or I got a soap opera and it was like, simulating a sex scene under the covers, but it's still bad in my community. And I got a $6 million HBO film with Remington Steele, and that was big at the time. And I thought I couldn't take it because, again, I had to be nude the whole time. I was sitting like this, covering myself while he was sculpting me, and I was his wife. But I just had to say no. And at that point, I was 24. I only spent 2 years trying, but I thought, oh my God, not my dad was right, but Jesus, I can't do this. It's not cut out for me. So who am I? What am I? Came up. So I decided to go to Iraq to find my roots. Wow. And that's when everyone was bombing too and all that. So I went there and was on the hunt for Saddam Hussein. And I thought, if I'm not going to be an actor, let me just go die or go. It was like a total midlife crisis. And maybe I'll get kidnapped because I have an 18-hour bus ride that goes.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, and they say
that's what I'm going to say.
What was that?
Sorry, that's what I'm going to say. Like, that's where everything was happening, and it's so dangerous right there.
Yeah,
Did you have family there?
There were no flights into Iraq, so you had to fly into Jordan, then take the 18-hour bus ride. But they say it makes 5 stops to be, checked. And they said some of those people kidnap Americans and, whatever. So I said, oh, cool, I'll get kidnapped. Then I'll talk myself out of it, and we'll write a book together, and I could tell people what goes on over here.
That's a daredevil.
Yeah, and I thought then I could be a writer. We'll turn it into a screenplay, and voila. I won't be an actor, but I'll be on the other side. So that was my plan. And then I went there, and then I was on the hunt for Saddam Hussein. I took the bus ride, and anytime the guards would come in, I met this woman there too in Jordan. I said, where's your family? She goes, oh, I'm going there by myself. Going to Iraq by yourself? She's like, well, I've been doing it too. I said, what's yours? And she goes, oh, I want to kill myself. I said, oh, I just want to get kidnapped. This is my plan. Then she's like, oh my God. I said, join me. So we kind of joined forces. She was an immigration attorney in Michigan. And anytime the guys would come on the bus, we'd like be, pick me, you know, we go in the back and we go, oh, you need our passports? Let's see. Oh, let me get my Louis Vuitton out. Let me check this. And, oh, are those my diamonds that dropped? You know, but nobody hurt us. Everyone was kind and nice. And we're like,
Oh my God.
okay. And I mean, it was great that nobody hurt us, but it was like, at the same time, we wanted some action to escape from it, but some action to come home with something. But it turns out most of the people there are beautiful people. And I don't have immediate relatives there because we're Christian Iraqi, not Muslim.
Okay.
And they were just 2% of the country, you know, about 2,500 left actually when we got there. So we did go to Tilkaf where they were living, and it's all caves. And there's just one little hospital, one little grocery store, and an orphanage in a school. And I'm like, oh, let's go in this orphanage. And when I went into the orphanage, I started talking to the kids and they're like, oh, you're American. You hate us. You bomb us. You do this, you do that. You guys are evil. But, oh my God, no, we're not. It's our country. It's politics. It's not us. The people, you know, don't feel that way. And but then I realized, wow, they have the same feelings that we have of not feeling loved or accepted by family members or by friends or by other countries, whatever it is. We all have our demons in our head saying you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're, you know, whatever damage has been done to us growing up. And I thought, wow, all they need is to be loved, or they need their voices to be heard. And it's impossible because they're in this orphanage. So I said, I will memorialize their words. So that's when I started, you know, getting out my camera, video camera, and my video recorder and recording their answers. Then I thought, what am I going to do with this? I have no idea. So I ended up traveling over 5 years to 15 countries doing the same thing, asking the kids the same questions. Is God fair? Why or why not? Who in the world would you want to meet and why? And if you had one wish, what would it be? And just getting these answers from the kids all over, from Australia to Baghdad to, you know, China and Japan, United States.
Yeah.
It was a fascinating study
Yeah.
and what goes on in children's minds.
It's really amazing because you didn't have much of expectation for the book, but then it's reached so many people.
Yes.
And you've got, you know, some really great raving reviews, even from, you know, Victor Hansen, who read the book and said that, you know, it's amazing. What do you think was that really stood out? Like, you know, while interviewing them, what was there one particular child who said something that really stuck with you?
I have it right here. Yeah. And a lot of them stuck with me, even if they were simple, because they had so much truth to them. And I got about, you know, at least 50 to 100 for each place, but I narrowed them down because some of them were similar. So I just kept, you know, the ones that, you know, really represented a majority of the children. Like, I want to meet God. This is Iraq. To understand my purpose, why I'm here, I just don't understand the reason for life. Mommy says there's no reason. You just live because you were born.
Wow.
Yeah. The American president, because I'd like to meet him, so he'd know how nice we are. I think if he met me, he would like me and then protect my family because he likes to have fun. I've seen him on TV smiling a lot, and my family is fun. You know, I'd like to meet your president to ask why he lets his bombs fall on my daddy. And I'd like to ask why an American doctor won't bring medicine because we don't have any left and we're sick. You know, so it's just like that kind of stuff when you're hearing that over and over and over again from so many, it's crazy. And then you look at the different ones.
Wouldn't it? Yeah. It's just like just any other child, just asking questions.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's so pure.
Yeah, it was a very interesting thing. We're going, oh, what did they say in China? What did they say in Iraq? What did they say in Australia? And, you know, if you had one wish, what would it be? When someone in Australia said, I'd like to surf and surf all the way to the United States, you know, like on the continent, you know, the other Iraq, they're saying just to live, not to get bombed for one day. You know, America, that my mommy and daddy will get me that Barbie doll and the, you know, I want the whole thing. And the, you know, it's just like completely different.
Oh, wow. That's really
Mhm.
fascinating. That's really
Yeah.
fascinating. And I guess, you must have really, it must have been really touching, like, really heart wrenching to see, like, sometimes just everyday to day things, what kind of, like, beliefs that they're going to carry through for the rest of their life as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's very
And
true.
yeah. And so where did you go to those other countries, like, to interview the Bedouins and the Sufis and the
Bedouin.
Shamans? Yeah, Bedouins.
The Bedouins I did just because I was in Iraq and then we wanted a break. So we went to Jordan to just chill and relax. And Raiders of the Lost Ark was there. Petra's there. It's like a landmark and it's, one of the most amazing places in the world.
Wow.
I thought I have to go there. It actually is one of the seven wonders of the world. And so we said we're so close. So it's about an hour and a half drive from Amman. So we were in Amman for a few days and then we did a couple days in Petra. And there we met Bedouins. Someone was there saying, "Oh, you want to take the tour? Don't take that tour. Come with me and take this tour." And then took us on this other journey, which was a little scary actually. People called them hubbly bubbly. And we were very trusting. We just got in his car. Then here's where all the tourists are. And then he went this way and going up, 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 up. And then he stopped and picked up a couple of guys. And we're like, "Wait, we're over there." And he's like, "No, no, no, you come with us." I'm like, "Oh my God, this is happening, Ash. We're going to get kidnapped. This is our story. It couldn't happen in Iraq. That's happening in Jordan with the Bedouins." So we go up about 45 minutes. So like this rough terrain, I'm like, we'll never be able to even walk down because all we have is flip flops and a little sarong and a tank top. And when we got up there, we said, "Okay, this is it." There's his family members up there and these people, and they had a Turkish like rug and they had candles all in their caves because they're all caves. And they were
Wow.
making chicken and tomatoes and potatoes underground. And it was just like amazing. And it was the most delicious feast I've ever had, just the way they prepared it and cooked it. And it was all these Bedouins. I'm like, "Let me interview you guys. Who are you? And what is a Bedouin? Who are you? What's
Yeah.
your thinking? What's your political beliefs, your beliefs, for marriage and family and everything." So that started the passion. I'm going, "Oh, wow, I'm here. Oh, I'm going to Israel. Let me go interview people in Israel." And then I just start, wherever I go, let me interview people because I found it
Wow.
a great way to connect and go deeper. One of the Bedouins said, "Why don't you have a man with you? Like, where's your husband and where's your brother?" I'm like, "Oh no, I travel alone a lot. I love it because it helps me connect to myself and clear my head." But he said, "No, no, no, but that's not okay. You need a brother or a husband, somebody next to you." And then I said, "No, we don't actually in America. We can do it on our own." And then one of them said, "Oh, I understand. I understand." I go, "Oh, please explain." And
Yeah.
then he said, "Oh, I watch Baywatch." He got it bootleg
Ah,
Baywatch. Women, they're very independent in bikinis and stuff. Like, you don't need a man. From
ah,
Baywatch. If you're getting your education about who Americans are from Baywatch, oh my God.
oh my God. So they
Yeah.
do have some of the luxuries of TVs and they're quite connected. I thought those they're quite like I don't know, maybe my concept of Bedouins a bit more old fashioned.
Yeah, that's why I found it interesting traveling because that's what you're shown. They're just in the desert,
Yeah.
barefoot, throwing rocks at each other, or just,
Yeah.
I don't know, sitting in the dirt eating. And yeah, they're very smart, a lot of them. And they go down to the grocery stores and buy food and come back up. Or, yeah, they have cars, they have little houses or little apartments in
Really?
the village, but then they
Wow.
have their caves as their guest house, maybe. No, their caves up in the mountains. And
Oh.
they live there, yeah, and some of them don't have as much as others,
Yeah.
but so they just have a cave or whatever, and their family members go down to the store and whatever, but they're
Wow.
nice, and it's like, we slept there then, he wouldn't bring us back, he said, "No, you have to experience all of Petra." So he had us stay there, and we're like, "No, no, no, we wanna go home," because we thought, "Okay, this is it, every second, this is it," all these Muslim men and just 2 girls, and he let us go to sleep at night there. And we just had like a cave with an alcove, no doors, and it was overlooking all these mountains. And it was just so inspiring and majestic and magical. And it's like, these people wake up like this every day. It's like you
Wow.
could touch the clouds, touch the sky. It was so amazing. And I'm so glad they insisted we stay, because he was right. This is the real Petra. They said, you don't do Petra in 2 hours, you know? So that's what
Yeah.
most of the tours are. You go there for 2 hours, ride a camel or sit on a camel, take pictures, go to this site, this site, this site, and then you're done. So he's like, no, 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 let
Wow.
me let you live here, live with a family. Let's go get the food together. Let's prepare together. This is how we live. So it was really nice.
So it means that a lot of the things that we see on TV is pretty much skewed. It's not
Yeah.
true.
Yes.
It really
Yes. And
gets you
that's what I was
thinking.
finding. This is when Iraq's being bombed. It's so dangerous to go there. I'm like, okay, I'm walking everywhere with a girl trying to get kidnapped. Kind
Kidnapped.
of. Hi, we're just two girls hanging out. Let's go to restaurants by ourselves, and they have no food there. It's just like you get one hard-boiled egg or a couple of falafels, because they, you know, didn't have much at that time. And people were selling their doors in the middle of the square at roundabouts and their front doors. I mean, they were really hurting. So we were helping out a lot of people and going to their orphanages
Yeah.
and doing all this kind of stuff, humanitarian work, but nobody heard us. So it really
Yeah.
was the governments.
Yeah.
And
So
Saddam
how
was
did
in power. So
oh
he
yes.
just ruled with an iron fist. And if anyone hurt an American, they would really be tortured and thrown in jail. So I think we had a superpower just with that. People could sleep with their doors open. People, you know, you
Wow.
never, yeah, at that time, because Saddam was so strict. Once he, you know, was assassinated, pretty much killed, he, yeah, the whole country went crazy. Are you sure? They were like in PTSD, because it's so, they're so used to, it's like North Korea dictator. You know, if he died tomorrow, everyone would still be going, wait, are you sure? You know, so before they overthrew, you know, the whole government and, you know, built up a new government there, they had to pause for a month, 6 weeks, like little baby steps of doing something. Wait, nobody's doing anything. We're knocking down his statues. There's no Saddam or his army coming to get us. Then slowly
Wow.
it started to deconstruct, and mayhem and chaos and deaths and Al Qaeda coming in, everyone trying to claim power. So I'm like, God, if
Wow.
I had known that all this was underneath Saddam's control. My dad knew. He kept saying Bush shouldn't go there and, you know, kick him out of power, because um, he has no idea how the Middle East is run. You need a dictator to handle the climate
Yeah.
over there. It's very different from here. You can't say, oh, be a democracy like us. So, you know, so I heard that as words and believed it. He said you could go there and nothing would ever happen to you with Saddam. And I'm like, okay, I'm here and nothing's happening. But seeing it with my own eyes of him, you know, being taken down was just like unbelievable, seeing the before and after of the character of the people, because they were so suppressed and they couldn't overthrow or do anything because was so vicious. But now I know why he was vicious. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
So
all
there's
wired differently. Each country's, you know, completely different mindset. So,
yeah. Yeah.
mhm.
There's a purpose, there's a reason for things
Yeah.
being a certain way, and only they know.
Yes, or that's what they're used to, and that's how they've been raised. And yeah, it's so many factors involved, you know, unless you really understand the country and their reasoning and why they do the things they do, it's very hard to go in there and just, you know, change everything and then go, okay, we're done, and leave
Yeah.
or stay
Yes.
and cause more problems.
That is another conversation altogether, which is going to be
Yeah,
really huge.
yeah. But you learn a
A
lot
bit like
from it.
talking about.
It's like, you know, going there going, wow, okay, let me really mind my manners in each country. It really helped me, you know, have a little more reverence when I go to a country and try to be respectful of who they are, not be, you know, the ugly American who goes there and just says, I don't care, this is who I am. Like, I won't wear shorts in a Muslim country. You know, it's like, okay, I'll wear a long skirt, I'll wear long sleeve shirt just to respect who they are. You know,
Yeah.
learn a few words, you know, at least basics, you know, hi,
Wow.
thank you, how are you, you're welcome, that kind of stuff, just so you could at least show that you care a little bit, you are in their country. So
Right. Wow. It's a bit like going to China and understanding the dynamics and why it is.
Yes.
So how did that all shape you to go and start your own coaching business? Because after that, you found your purpose. Was that after that?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of this traveling and trying to find out who am I, what am I? And sometimes when you just think about it too much, when you're in your head and just writing, it's not good enough because you're not connected to your soul. You're not connected to something deeper. So I thought, I have no idea. My whole life, I just prepared for this is what I was going to do. So I think travel started helping me understand my bigger picture. Because once I started meeting these kids, and I'm like, you know what, maybe I'm supposed to be doing something with kids. So let me start a nonprofit. So I self-published this book and I gave it to libraries and schools. And then I started speaking everywhere. They go, oh, will you come speak to kids about this? And I'm like, oh, I'm not a speaker or anything. Okay, it's just kids. So I started speaking to children in different countries and here in the States. And then I thought, oh, I like this speaking and I like writing a book, but let me go get a master's in psychology so I could understand the children better. Because I felt very street smart. So I wanted to get book smart in this. And so I went, and that experience, I did volunteer work in prisons. And then I worked with 3,000 people plus, just getting in my hours and all that kind of stuff. And working in the prisons changed me a lot. I thought, oh my God, all these people, my judgments towards them before and after, actually sitting with them and hearing their stories and understanding a systemic problem more than just this is just who we are, and how they're raised, even though they're in the United States, they're under such different rules in a way, just from their culture and their upbringing and from their past and the past of this country, the history. Like, oh, okay, I get it more. And I had more compassion. So I started, and before that, since I was already doing some acting, and I did some good work and some commercials and all that kind of stuff. And I had connections. So when I graduated, people asked if I would be the like coach on the set to handle difficult actors and stuff. So I'm like, sure. So I started that. Then I started working with actors more. And then I started doing improv, and I started going to improv classes and all of that just to relate more, and taking more acting classes. And somehow I stopped doing regular coaching because I thought, oh, that doesn't really work. It works for certain issues, but it doesn't work for instant therapy, like on a set to get someone shift or their mindset changed to go do something. I think regular therapy that we're trained for is great for come sit on my couch for a year and let's really unravel this ongoing issue. But if you want instant change for something, you got to do something else. So I kind of combined the therapy with improv, and I created these imposters. So when someone behaving, I'm like, oh, that's your narcissist imposter. You're being defiant, and you don't care, and you don't care if you hurt other people or ruin their project, and or you're being the seductor. You don't know why you're having all this trouble. It's because you're trying to use your seductress imposter to get a better role. And then you're feeling like they're not giving you enough. And then it's all the inauthenticness that is causing this behavior. And then then I play with them. Let me have a session with your imposter, not you, because you're fabulous, but your imposter is a motherfucker. It's like destroying you. This imposter's on the stage of your brain, destroying you. You want to be this, and your imposters are holding you back because of your personality issues. So let's have a conversation with that person. So if I'm not talking to you and I'm talking to your imposter, I could say whatever I want, because this is the demon inside of you. So I could be harsh on them and tell them and mirror who they were. And then they would get it. They would laugh, and they could act back because it was their imposter, and they could be more honest and reveal the skeletons in their closet. And once you get those out, people heal.
Yeah. So do we have multiple imposters? Like, so if the audience is interested in going to Lisa's website, you can actually do an imposter quiz to find out what is the main imposter that you're dealing with. So do we have multiple imposters that we have, depending on the day, depending on the project, or how do we deal with that?
Yeah, I found 7 imposters in your authentic soul, but there's many more. And sometimes if I work with kids, I do different imposters, like the mean girl or the bully and the smart one, the nerd, all that kind of stuff I play with. But with for adults, yeah, I found like the overthinker. We overthink things. So many people I know died with their story inside them. They never lived out their life because I'm not good enough to write a book, or I'm not good enough to do this or that, whatever it was. They held off. Then when they were dying, they're like, oh, I never got to do that. And so like the overthinker that sabotages you that way, the seductress that I talked about, it's like your Marilyn Monroe or whatever that goes out there and really tries to use your feminine wiles, or a male tries to be the seductor to get what they want. But then that sabotages you because karma, and it's just, you feel inauthentic. You feel like you didn't really earn something, and, you're narcissist and you're a fixer. So it's like all of these combined. Some people like have all of them, and some people just have one or two. And one of the biggest is the victim, where I never, get a fair chance, and I grew up this way, or I don't have this, I don't have that, very disadvantaged. And it's like, if you just step out of that and say, this is who I'm claiming to be, and each of them have a, degree, 1 to 10. So like 1 through 5 is like the ugly side. And then you get the strengths of that. And then in the middle is kind of the neutral territory. But you could use anything. The narcissist, if used well, because I say you can't get rid of your baggage.
Yeah.
All your negatives, they are still a part of you. I know a lot of therapists say, oh, we could get rid of that if you work hard enough, but I think it's really part of you. It's part of your DNA. If you grew up like you are Asian, it's part of your DNA. You will always have characteristics of your culture. You cannot use therapy and get rid of it, is my belief. And so I work with that. So you've got to embrace it. If this is who you are, then what can you do with that? How do you make it work for you instead of against you? So I demonstrate how it's working against you. And then we find ways to go, oh, this is how you could turn the switch on that. So it's not something that's destroying your life. It's something that's actually helping you. Like if you use your narcissist in a positive way, that means you're really clever and smart. And, most actors and most politicians are narcissists. Otherwise, they would never have the guts to go for what they're doing, So, but they're using it to, a lot of them, to empower people or to help or to make change. Or you could use it to lie, cheat, steal, and manipulate. But so it's your choice. But one makes you successful and happy, and the other one makes you successful and unhappy.
Wow. I think that's really powerful because, as you said, it's not about really getting rid of. You can't ever get rid of it, because that's something I started when I thought, all this transformation is like dying, getting rid of and clearing out everything and going for a clear slate. But as you said, you just have to understand that it's always you and makes who you are. And it's more of understanding awareness of how to use that for your advantage, right? To understand more the strengths and the weaknesses, because you can always go, and I guess it's always polar opposites of everything, and they have to exist.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really fascinating. And
and it became fascinating work. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of like I'm acting, because I get to do all these improvs, and I held workshops all over. And I haven't done it for a while, for about the past 5 years or so, but I used to do humanitarian trips, like to Tanzania, Costa Rica, Bali, multiple times. And we would go do humanitarian work during the day. I say, bring extra cash, bring a suitcase of stuff. Like for me, I brought, went to Hollywood and got Hollywood t-shirts and pencils and pen, stuff that they're like, oh, wow, because they're always so fascinated with that. And then money, and we'd go to like little villages and, what do you need here? And we would go hire local carpenters and stuff to build the beds and do this. We'd bring games like Twister and stuff, teach the kids new games. And we completely redo their orphanage in like 3 or 4 days, and play with them, teach them cultural stuff. They teach us cultural stuff. And then we would leave. Oh, and at nighttime, then we do soul blazing. So we'd have candles lit, and then we would do this imposter work. And I found that when people are doing good for people, they like themselves more, and they are more accessible to their soul and changing. And becoming who they want to be.
Wow.
So we gave during the day, and we did this work on ourselves at night.
So soul blazing for you, it's really about discovering who you are. Really,
Yeah.
that's the work. Because I was looking at one of your posts on Instagram, and it really hit me. It says that advertising and self-improvement dogma would have us all believe that if we work hard enough and tirelessly work on mind, body, and soul,
Yeah.
we can achieve not only perfection, we can become our best selves. But that's as much as a myth as a unicorn that lives in your backyard.
Yeah.
I thought that was fascinating because a lot of people are stuck in that rut.
Yes.
Of doing a lot of personal development, and then at the end of the day they're asking themselves, why is it working? What am I missing? So
yes.
what do you think is missing? What do you think, what does it really take to transform?
Because they're in their mind. Everything's reading a book, sitting in a seminar, watching someone. Yes, I get it. Just like how you read that quote and said, oh my God, that's an aha for me. But then it kind of dissipates because you don't do anything with it. It's like it feeds your soul in the moment, but then it's after a week, you probably won't even remember the quote. And what I'm trying to do with soul blazing is when you have these immersive experiences, then you make it your lifestyle. Like you constantly, not everyone's different. I'm not telling everyone they have to do humanitarian work or work in orphanages or anything like that. Everyone's is different. It could be taking care of a grandparent. It could be, but doing something for other people, reading and growing, keeping your own journal. I have a morning routine. They say every successful person has a great morning routine. And it's really like just getting up and doing your meditation for 15, 20 minutes longer if I have the time, doing the yoga. I have a little yoga app, doing that, writing down your thoughts and beliefs. And I have my declarations of who I am, and I have a vision board of who I am. So it's looking at that, reading all my declarations. There's about 20 of them. And, then I'm ready for the day. I could take my calls. I could do whatever, be a mom. But I created my mindset for the day that I'm going to kill this day. I've got it. Whatever issues are going on. Oh, the elections or this or that. It's like gone because I spent an hour or more working on myself. So whatever comes at me that is a trigger or something, I could go, oh, isn't that funny? It's not, it'll bounce off me because I'm not attached to anything. I know who I am. I know what my beliefs are. You get to have your beliefs and you get to have your thoughts. And that's nice, and move on. If I don't agree with them or don't like that person, I just don't have to associate with them. It doesn't mean I have to argue and go back and forth like what's going on in our world today. As a coach, I'm getting all my clients are saying, oh my God, I'm having such conflicts with family members or friends or colleagues that they work with. And it's so uncomfortable. And it's this person's this, and they call them every name in the book of how awful they are to have that belief system. And I get both sides. I get why someone so passionate would be so appalled. Someone voting for someone else is like a vote against their whole life, so it's very personal to them. It's like a personal attack. That's how this has turned out. So it's like, oh, walking them through that and going, okay, what imposter is that you're giving that person that much power? What imposter is that this, and then we play that out, and it helps just, I don't know, let the air out of the intensity of it.
Stand back and see that a bit more clearly.
Yeah. And you say that is your thought. It doesn't make it true. That person isn't saying that to, push your buttons or to trigger you. They're saying that because they have a strong belief. Like, for example, Trump, obviously. Some African Americans are feeling if you're voting for Trump, you're against them, and that their life is going to be horrible under the administration, this and that. Okay. So then I think, well, what about them? And if you talk to them, they're like going, oh, he's lowering taxes. I don't have that much money. I don't want more taxes taken out of my money. So they're thinking about themselves, not about the issue that's important to these people. It's what's important to them. So there's someone else. Oh, it's about religion. I feel, pro-life, and I don't care about anything else but pro-life. So everyone has their thing.
It's not easy being president, is it?
Oh my God, I don't know who would want that job. I mean, oh my God, or anything, Congress, lawyer even, I just couldn't handle. Just fighting all day is your job, conflict.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just very interesting. It helps you, so it helps you discover who you are. It's going in and saying, okay, we're all on a spiritual journey, having a human experience. So my soul is this, and I'm being presented with this human experience for my soul's growth. And when you look at it that way, you just go, oh my God, here's an opportunity. Thank you. And you don't take it in so much in that way. But it's hard sometimes when you really, it's affecting your work life or family life or whatever. So you have to really be solid with your boundaries and your belief in yourself, and try not to engage in those discussions or fights. Arnold Schwarzenegger had said he used to put a box in front of him, just like an invisible box, and he was Arnold. And when he stepped into the box, he became Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he said when he came here, everyone turned him down because of his name and his accent. Who's gonna you can't be a movie star. He goes, oh, I want to be the #1 box office in the world. Well, good luck. You barely speak the language, and your accent, and you don't look the build of the average guy. But he did it, with his, a couple of his biggest films. And then he wanted to be governor. He did that. He wanted to be a pro wrestler or bodybuilder. He did that. And it's just, he said the way he did it was basically using the imposters. He'd step in that box and become a huge narcissist. He said he used to go around to restaurants and just say, I'm Arnold, I'm famous, do you want my autograph? Just practicing giving autographs, and he became a celebrity. He said he went out of his house as, I am a celebrity, the #1 celebrity in the world. So when you start not just listening to a thought leader, not just listening to even this interview and going, oh, interesting, oh, let me write a few notes down. You have to become it. You have to, every cell in your body has to believe it. I have clients who say, I've done affirmations, they don't work. I've done it my whole life, and my life is a disaster in every area. And I'm like, have you done it? Tell me your affirmations. And they're like, I don't know, or I want to be rich. I want to have $1 million. But the problem with that is, first of all, that's all they remember. And the problem with that is it's not in their body. It's like, do you want to be rich? You say, why aren't I rich? So you define why you're not rich. You do a self-forgiveness on your past behavior that is causing you to not have money or have the ability to earn more money than you need, more money than survival money. And then you do your declaration based on your personal life and your experiences. So it's personal. So it's not, I just want to be a millionaire. It's, I want to raise $1 million to give my gift to the world, because that'll bring me freedom. And then I could go, like for me, I could go travel the world and go do free work at all these orphanages. I could bring supplies and money. I could help my loved ones. I could help my grandmother who needs help. I could help everyone who I could give my daughter a better education. So it's, now I'm motivated just for $1 million, especially for women. It doesn't work more than men. Yes. Men could say, I want to rule the world. I want to just make as much money as I can, because their mindset is different. But women's is more like, oh, I want to do something, positive for the world overall. So we're all wired differently. We all have different baggage that's preventing us from getting to the next level. I used to live across the street from Sandra Bullock. This was right before she did Speed. And she was just this working actress who wasn't really making it, going, okay, I've been doing this for 10 years and I'm still nowhere. And then she got, I got this movie Speed, but it's really stupid. And, it's just a dumb, film. And then she said she was going to Europe because the film was coming out, and she said she's going to get all these bad reviews. She's going to get them. And she went to Europe and she came back a huge star. And I laughed at that, going, oh my God, look, he went away for that. But now look at you. She's like, it's unbelievable. You never know. Because I've done so many films that I thought were going to be the big film. And this is one I thought was just like a dumb kind of film that would, come and go, a bus driver, she didn't think much of it. And I said, how did you do it? How did you even get that job? And she said, there was a difficult actor on there. and they didn't want to work with her, even though she was talented. And she had worked with the director producer prior on her last film that was just a, silly movie that she didn't really care about. And she wasn't that great of an actress. She was competent, but not an actress. And they knew that, so they didn't put her on that, and they put the more skilled actor. But then they said, you know what, we want easy. So she said always she was easy on the set, easygoing, not difficult, no drama, was on time, showed up prepared and with a smile on her face, played pranks on people. So they said, we're going to bring her. She's not the best actress, but we'll at least have a good time after having the nightmare experiences with the talented, difficult actor.
Right.
So she got it. So it's like when people say, I don't know why I didn't get it. Well, check your attitude. What is your attitude? What do you bring to the table? Do you have ego? Do you have to be treated a certain way? Are you, who are you being in the world? Because, and how hard are you working? She said, Monday through Friday, she brought a headshot and a resume to 2 people who didn't know her, casting directors or directors, producers. She hand delivered them. 2 a day was part of her daily routine. And every Friday night, she did a play reading with different actors. So she'd call up her actor friends and they do just a reading. So she's constantly practicing her craft. And it's not who you know, it's who knows you and who likes you.
Wow.
So she made that good impression. And that's hard work. You're not the most talented, but you're the most vigilant. And you're aware that personality counts. When you're in a movie, it's like you're in a family. Nobody wants to be married to you for like 2 or 3 months if you're like, unevolved person or icky or drama or chaos or unprepared, all that kind of stuff. They want a responsible, funny, fun person to work with. So she nailed it. And look at her career now. She's an Academy Award winning actor and she's well respected. And
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so coming across like the Bedouins, the Sufis, and the Sufis came about because I got on their mailing list. And they said that they were doing this spiritual thing on one month to go to Rumi's grave. And it was like through Cappadocia. And I forgot the 2 other places. They're very small, like 150 people live there, these small places. And they were going to all these grave sites of all these great Sufi leaders. And I'm like, okay, that sounds interesting. And you do, the twirling and the prayers, the everything, the singing, the chanting. And I just thought that would be a fascinating experience. So I went and did that.
Have you written a bio of all these things? Like all the experiences you've had?
I just finished my soul blazing book. And yes, I have a book called Under a Baghdad Roof that I have a strong first draft, which probably won't come out for 2 years because I'm just giving this one to my agent. So it'll come out in like 10 months. So that's like September of next year. And then, so the other one would come out probably the next year, but I did it as going to Iraq and back to keep it. So I'm not talking about too many things, but on the bus ride, since it's 18 hours, I went back. Yeah. Oh, this reminds me of, and I take people back to these different little adventures.
Wow. Wow. I would love to read that when it comes out. I love travel. I haven't traveled all, I guess for me, the thing is, it's like, oh my God, it's not safe. I'm thinking going to Egypt and then you hear these news and things like that. And you're writing, you think about it, you just go, you write your own script, you're on your own movie script.
Yes.
So you've been living it.
Yes. And I think that came out of pain of not getting what I thought I was going out for. And I just, I think a lot of kids today could relate to. I think I was a bit of a drama queen. It was just like, if I didn't do that, I just want to die. Life's not worth living. And I was going to be an actress and I was going to do this and marry this person and live here and do this. And it's like, all of it's gone. So I took a year to cry and sob. And then I went, okay, let's get our act together. Let's figure it out. I'm going to just go on this trip. And if I get killed, fine, because I don't care. So I was very daring, very adventurous. Wow. And when you're that way, nobody wants to hurt you because people treat you with whatever your energy is. And when people say I don't make it in life, I usually say it's your energy, because what you present to the world is how you're treated. If you go in there as a badass saying, I don't care, do whatever you want, and walking into areas where they're like, what are you doing here? You're a female. It's like, yeah, and then they're not going to bother you. They go, oh, is she a spy? Is she undercover? Is she this? So nobody hurts you. But if you go in there, oh my God, hi, I'm here. I'm afraid to go outside on my own. I need a guide. And you're walking out, and then you're going to be, oh, target. Like when I just graduated college, I went to Europe, a European vacation for 2 weeks with a girlfriend, and I knew nothing because I never traveled. And I took my nice suitcase and I wore nice, diamonds and not, little studs, little but nicer refined stuff. And, day 2, I took a night train through Italy, and my friend brought her brother's old backpack and stuff. And my stuff was stolen up there, and my stuff was stolen at the bottom as we were sleeping. I have no idea. So it had to be rigged because we had a locked overnight door. So they said, oh, she must have money because look at what she's wearing. So it was like a Target. You go buy stuff and you put it down next to you, go shopping for clothes and you eat because you just don't expect it. Then you look down and your stuff is gone going, what happened? So I got so much of that on my first trip. And I'm like, okay, I'm an idiot. This is my first time traveling. I'm a target. So I learned from that going, okay.
So do you dress like the commoners, like the people, like, you just wear whatever they wear, right?
Yeah. I usually don't take much clothes and I go shopping there and then wear those clothes. Yeah.
Wow. You are such a daredevil. It's amazing. And I guess because you're so fearless, as you said, like, people just sense it. And that probably puts you like more like a local than anything else.
I did that. I'd go and try to find my soul family. So the people that I met that I liked, it could be in the airport, it could be checking in for one night, then going out, I'd say, can I stay with you? I want the experience of living with a family, and I could even pay you. It doesn't matter. I just want, and I would do that too, then make all these friends around the world. So that was an added bonus because it was just really about meeting people. I was just thrilled with who are all these strangers that are my friends that I haven't met yet. And going with that attitude is very different. And I remember talking, I got to talk with Madonna too when I was in college. Her first Virgin tour was at my school, San Diego State. And we went to a club finding out where they were going to be afterwards. And then this hotel, and we went, we were of course invited to the room because we dressed in our little black dresses and whatever. It's a big party. So we're like, hi, because we knew there were, and just went up the elevator up there. Then I happened to meet one of her keyboardists and arranger, and we exchanged numbers, and he said, let's keep in touch. And then he kept saying, oh, come here, come to Utah, come to Kansas, come to Florida, come to, on her tour. Cause that was the first time. I'm not allowed to spend the night. He's like, you're 22. I know, but I have to stay here. My husband picked out for me. I'm supposed to stay here in San Diego. And he's like, oh my God, but we kept in touch. And then when he was in New York at the last 5 days of her concert, he said, you got to come here. And I just thought, you know what? I kept asking my dad. He kept saying no. So I just wrote him a note and I said, you know what, let me go on a vacation too afterwards. So I went to New York, and then I wanted to wrangle Madonna because she was my hero at that time. She just busted out. And I said, how did you do it? You have 5 sisters and a couple of brothers and patriarchal father. How did you become Madonna? And she said, you just have to, she said, if I were you, I would travel and travel alone. Because when you're brought up in a family like that, you don't know who you are. You are just, a piece of this bigger sculpture of this unit. And you have to strip yourself of that and find out who you are and become that person.
Wow. And so you talked to her before you did that travel? Was that something?
Yeah. So after that, I went to Europe, and I ended up going with my girlfriend, but I said, let's spend time alone. So I brought her there too. And I said, come. Then she goes, yeah, you're traveling, but you have your friend, you need to go alone. So I said, we need to split up a little bit. So we split up a little bit and did our thing. But then after that, I started traveling alone.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wish I had this beforehand and I had that courage to do that. Now I'm married, I've got kids and everything. And I'm thinking, how do you do that now?
Yes. You can't do it. So I always said, I don't want to get married for a while. Don't want kids because I don't know who I am and I don't even know what I want. And I'll wait
so
to
I
do
think
that.
That is so important. That is so important. And now with the COVID and everything like that, we're not traveling. How are you doing? How are you expanding yourself without that travel option?
Oh, it's been very hard. I'm like, give me my drug. It's been hard, but I sat down and I did 2 documentaries. I interviewed thought leaders like Jack Canfield of, Mark Victor Hansen's partner. And I interviewed Byron Katie. I don't know who she is. Catherine Woodward Thomas about divorce. She does conscious uncoupling.
Oh my God.
Paltrow.
I need to get your list.
Yeah, a lot of great people. Ben Vereen, he's a triple threat actor, Tony winner, award winner. Anyway, all these people, 10 of them. Sue Wong, you might know her, a big fashion designer.
Oh, yeah.
Who came here with nothing from China, and then now she's like worth 500 million. So how did you do it? So I interviewed these 10 people, and then I had 12 experiences with healers. So I said, come over and do what you do, like past life regression, Akashic records.
You did it all online?
No, here, but we just did it and said, okay, it's just one-on-one and cautious. So whatever. So I did all these, and then I've been editing them with I have a partner here, and he's an editor, and he shot it. And so we're sitting here editing. And so during this time, I have 2 documentaries. I wrote my soul blazing book that I had a rough draft, but refined it and wrote the book proposal. So I have 2 documentaries and a book proposal that I did.
So how do we get hold of the documentary? How do we watch that?
Well, he's downstairs editing or putting the music is getting done to the last one. So it's either going to be on Amazon or Netflix. So we'll see.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. So is there a free gift that you give the audience? Is there something that you like them to check out to find out more about you? And I guess,
I'm going to do a group Zoom. So some to just email me, and I'll let them have that for free.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm limiting it to 12 people for each one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
It's been such a fascinating, interview. You give me so much to really think about, like, how we're actually living so much in the box, and sometimes it's just you just got to go out there and just do it.
Yes.
And that courage, that bravery that you have, I think that's so much in like, if, like what you said, a lot of people are just in their head. It's really just go out there and just do it. Freaking just do it.
Yes, you got to just go out and do it, because the more you think about it, this other wonderful thought leader, Mel Robbins, has the 5-second rule, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if you don't just do it, if you think about it, even getting up in the morning, oh, let me get up. And then you go, oh no, 5 more minutes. 5 minutes is another hour. If you don't, it's like, get up and get it done, So sometimes when I'm feeling in those moods, I still get up, do what I have to do. Then I say, I could always go back to bed, but get it done. And once you do your morning routine, you're like, oh, I don't need that. But
yeah. Bypass that critical thinking, that conscious mind, that imposter. You wake up and get it done before the imposter wakes up and
exactly. And then die. No, you don't want to kill your imposter. You want to work with your imposter. Yeah. And once you really build a friendship and a connection, and you understand your imposter's mindset and love on your imposter, because it's like, oh, that was a person that was, beaten up or bullied or had something done to them. It's like all their little marks that hurt their feelings. That one kid who said this. So it's like you want to nurture them and say, you don't have to defend yourself so much anymore. You don't have to be that tough. You don't have to be that weak. You don't have to be whatever it is that it's bringing out in you. So it's like training and nurturing it with love instead of beating it up, which is exactly what I think should be in prisons. After working in prisons, they have all this, rap music, and everyone's mean to you and everyone treats you like an animal. Just come on, calling them by their numbers and get out, everyone, it's always so mean. And it's like, if it was, just classical music all day long, or spiritual music and meditation music, and leading on the intercom meditations during the day, instead of treating them horribly, then they might shift and change. Instead of developing gangs in there, they said that this is where they meet the people that they get out and do more, criminal action with, because that's what they do. They commit crimes. So they find partners, but if they're shifted in there and changed in there, think of who our society could be. They don't have to come out and be drug addicts and sell drugs and all that.
It's kind of like the Paddington movie where they've actually were baking cakes and everything in there, and they were being called by their names and read bedtime stories and stuff like that. And it was just amazing. Everybody shifted. So that's so true. So thank you so much for your time. I've taken up an hour, and I feel like we can continue talking about so many things. Literally, I would love to read your books. I think that, the Whispers of the Children's Whispers, and then your book of Soul Blazing. I'll put all the information down below for the audience. And I think this interview was really great for if anybody who has something that they this dream they aspire to really take what Lisa has done by example, just really go out there and just do it and have the attitude, that fearless attitude, and just go and do it. Yeah. Thank you so much for inspiring us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.